Okay, well, I have now primed the inside and the outside of this car. So, if you look closely, you can see this was my repair. There's definitely some drips. I always put a little too much paint on. You can see it coming down here. I'm gonna take some really fine grit sandpaper after this dries. I'm gonna let it dry really well. Take some really fine grit sandpaper and water, and I'm just gonna make sure that it's flat before I put the Lotus White on. So you can see that. You can see the dash, under the dash, and then this whole back area. So, all right. Okay, so yesterday I went through about eight or nine cans of primer, and I had taped off the wheel wells because those are nicely black. So let's take a look here. Looks pretty good. I still have to do inside the grate. I tried to clean it with the Scotch-Brite, and it's a disaster to try to get inside there. But it's a really rainy day here. So this is what the primed body looks like. This is the area that I had fixed. What I did is I noticed there were holes under each of these pillars. So I finally I plugged it with fiberglass. This one was a little bigger. Plugged that with fiberglass. So I'll sand that off as soon as it dries. And then here's more primed body here. I got to clean off what's inside. I had already painted this, and here's what this looks like. Even the places with drips, the primer dried really flat. Well, there's one. I'll have to do a little bit of wet sanding. Again, I plugged the bottom of the pillar there. And the bottom here looks good, but then the bottom here, this was the biggest hole that I plugged. I just don't want water. I just don't want any water to splash up and start like settling in the bottom of my Beetle here. So, you can see like here's some little drips. I'm gonna just do a little bit of wet sanding. You can see some little drips there. They're pretty flat, but I think with like a 2000 grit wet sand, I can get that without removing much of the primer. The dash, I think the dash looks really nice. Like it's just with the primer. The thing is that the base coat is there's some drips. The base coat is a really nice mist from Automotive Touch-Up. And so, down here is a little uglier. I have to put seam sealer all around here, which I'll do as soon as this is fully dried. But this, will all be covered by carpet. Back there will be covered by seam sealer. Again, over here, seam sealer again right there, even where there's, yeah, that looks, it looks pretty good, I would say. Headliner will cover most of that ugly part back there, as well as the roof. So, I'm happy with this in terms of, there's a lot of effort to just get this sanded down, cleaned, and all the rusty parts. I taped this off and I redid the inside here with the rust reformer. See, it looks like some of it came through right there when I did the interior, but so, and I'll wipe down the inside here because clearly there's some settled, that looks like rust reformer settled in through the crack of the dash. But overall, here's the primed body, the final fiberglass, the brand new heater channels, which once painted, they integrate in really, really nicely into the car. And I didn't set this on the chassis or anything, but it was really only there were really only millimeters that this heater channel could have been moved up or back, so I don't think there can be much variability there. I'm gonna take I'm gonna try out each of the threads underneath here just to make sure that these threads are good. And oh yeah, see right there, there's, I could use a little bit more fiberglass in under here just to seal that off, so I'll do that. But yeah, overall that's the progress.